Okay, it's recording. Go ahead.
Okay, sure. Let's see here. I had tried to launch Binder before doing this to see if that will be live by the time I was showing it off, and it seems to still be thinking about it. So I might be able to show that off, I might not. But anyway, I'll go ahead and do this to show what I have for now. Um, cool. So we are looking at my screen here, hopefully, and we're seeing the old PyHC gallery. That's when you're just on the PyHC website, click examples, you're gonna get this page here. Well, I've been working on a new version of the gallery that is deployed with Jupyter Book. So now you'll see this try out the new version of the gallery today banner at the top. And when you click that, you get this. And it's
Ooh, shiny.
yes, ooh, shiny, yes. It's got the same examples in there. I think we added one new one in there, so it's got one extra. But this is the Jupyter Book version of the gallery. And there's a few benefits that come with using Jupyter Book over the old format, other than it just kind of looks nicer. Um, the main one is going to be, I think, contributing. I've got over here by following the contribution guide. And if anyone's looked at the contribution guide for the old one, it was complicated. And now what is happening here is the process of adding a new example notebook to this PyHC gallery is trivially easy because it's not automated yet. Step one, open a PR that adds your IPython notebook. Step two, Sean takes it from there. That's it. In the last version, you had to like make a .python file with like this weird Sphinx formatting in your like notebook cells. It was a whole thing. And oh, darn, I saw a green check mark in the top there. I was hoping that meant Binder had loaded. It's loading. I'll talk about the environment very quickly that's being used here. We printed out at the bottom. Down here, it's a very minimal set of PyHC packages needed to actually run the dependencies. Just basically here, I could maybe even zoom in once to make that more visible. Um, I wrote a little blurb up here talking about how we wanted to use the big PyHC environment image that has all the published packages that I made, but it just doesn't play well with Binder. Ooh, hey, it has loaded here, which means I bet it's also loading here. Yes, it is. Booyah. So I'll point out very quickly to encourage people to be checking out this PyHC environment that I've worked on. When you click this link here, it brings you to Docker, which is the image of the PyHC gallery that has all of these same notebooks in here, but it's using an environment that has all of the PyHC packages, not just like the 8 that are needed to run the gallery. And this even links you to the GitHub repo where we've been keeping track of like the import files needed to generate that environment. So there's work happening there. The last two good things is running the notebooks inside here is nicer because you have options for Binder, Colab, and live code. Obviously, when you click Binder, it just brings you to Binder and you can run all of the examples yourself here. But with this live code thing, this is a first. You click live code. I think this will start very quickly. Yes, it will. And then this just runs it right here in the same page. It uses Binder Hub on the back end, but when it works, it's really nice because now you can just run the examples right there without ever leaving the web page. And so there you go. That's the new version of the gallery that we've been working on. This is deployed at a weird pyhcgallery.netlify.app web URL just because I'm not paying to do the custom domain stuff yet. I'd have to work with Pete Riley, I think, to actually set that up. But yeah, you get here by going to this banner at the top of the current one, which you get there from examples. And I'll just encourage people to check it out.
Very
I'm getting
cool.
claps from Rebecca. Thank you, Rebecca. I'm glad you like it. And I know, Rebecca, you and I were specifically talking about the live code thing, running the notebook there on the web page. I was happy I got that one figured out, and I could talk to you about how I did that if you're curious.
Russell.
Morning. Sorry, I was just a couple minutes late, Sean, so I'm sorry if you already covered this, but I have a couple PySat Jupyter notebooks from the PyHC summer school that should work for this environment. How do I get them to you?
Yes. There is here. I'll share my screen for one more second and just show how you can find that real quick.
Thank you.
So inside the gallery right here, where was that? Sorry, it's the morning and I forgot what I'm looking for already. Oh yes, how to add things. Right here. By following the contributing guide in the README, you can add new examples. And drum roll, please. The entire process is put your notebooks in book/source, and then I take it from there. So that's all to say that, Russell, I would be happy for you to just slap your notebooks over here and I'll take a look at them. It's pretty easy to add new examples right now because the environment's so minimal. There's only like 8 packages in there that dependency conflicts aren't really an issue. So it should be easy for you to just add some new, or anyone, not even just Russell, can just add some notebooks there and then we'll start getting some new examples. It's easier than ever to add them now.
Awesome.
put that
And what was that
in the
first
chat?
page? Sorry.
Oh.
Sorry.
What was the first
Maybe I
page?
shouldn't have stopped sharing my screen so quickly. What was the first page of what?
The first page that you showed that had the link to the README. Just so I could
Can
get
you
to
put
there.
the link in the chat? I think that would help.
Yes, I will put a link in the chat. But just so you can see, from the PyHC website, you go to examples to get to the old gallery, and there's just a banner at the top encouraging people to try out the new one. So once you get there, boom. But I will copy this
Cool.
and then
Thank you.
paste it into the chat. There you go, everybody. All right, now I think I'm done with that. Unless I should still be killing time. Do we have who we were waiting for?
No, we're waiting on John Niehoff.
I thought we were waiting on John. And yeah, I don't see a John in my participation list.
I sent him an email. I haven't heard back yet. Does anyone happen to just have his phone number or work with him? Usually, doesn't it just not show? I wonder if something's delaying him.
Sure don't. Nope.
Me either. Well, does anyone else have any updates or anything cool they want to share with the group?
I'm glad I had something.
I
to
have
share.
something I can share, I guess.
Go
That's
ahead.
Python related and
Great.
art. But I've been working with a guy to get some of my cosmic art stuff, the OMMBV science plots, which also look at like art, but giving that on a guitar.
What?
Yeah.
Am I seeing a picture of an actual guitar that exists already
Yes.
with the print on it?
So that's hand stained. So that's stained by hand. Yeah.
Wow. And that's what's that a plot of? What was the art?
That's one of them, one of the uncertainty plots, and then like the magnetic equator just pops out in this plot. So it's like the one that's all purple, and then the magnetic equator is just this like bright yellowish orange gold thing that just kind of stands out. So it's kind of
Sweet.
just happened to know a guy that makes guitars, and he was inspired by the art and started making one. So I saw that on Thursday. So yeah. Thanks. So well, I just figured since that there's a request for something cool and there's time.
There you go. That was worth spending a few seconds showing off.
Okay. Any other random topic? Rebecca poked me to talk about a couple of things PyHC is thinking about changing. Just trying to find. Aha. Thanks, Rebecca, for the talk. Sorry, I wasn't prepared to talk about this. I'm trying to find where in the document I have these notes.
No, that's okay. I've been ruminating on what I think you're about to be talking about there too, Julie, so I could add in some thoughts.
Sweet. Was it?
I
Sorry.
guess it's not entirely unrelated to what John was going to be talking about, because he was talking about the enhancement proposal thingy, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what he was going to be talking about.
Yeah, so
I haven't fully organized my thoughts around this yet. I was going to talk about this more like in a September or October Telecon, but just curious, I guess, to get people's thoughts maybe before going much further with it. We've been thinking, myself, Sean, Rebecca, we're talking offline about this, a week or two ago. We're thinking about maybe kind of changing up how we categorize PyHC packages to try to reflect some of the changes we want to make. Like PyHC after our spring meeting, we're really interested in partnering now with PyOpenSide to try to help better, get people looking at our packages, make sure that our standards are up to snuff, people are following it. And the added benefit of, having a partnership with PyOpenSide is that for packages that have not been maintained for a while, or, don't have anyone leading them and they're starting to kind of fall out of favor. Anyway, they can gracefully sunset those kind of packages with us. So that's just one added benefit. And we wanted to kind of incorporate that and a couple other ideas into how we tier our packages. So we were thinking of doing it into 3 different tiers, and add like a badge, into our packages list that we have showing whether or not you meet certain tiers. So there would be 3 different categories, kind of the, regular bottom of the pack. You're technically with PyHC, but that's kind of it. Then there would be some kind of VIP or verified package, and there's a couple different ideas there. We would assume that, a self-evaluation has been completed, that it completes the PyOpenSide PyHC code review process. Maybe you have a DOI either by adding or writing 1 to 2 pages for JOS or registering on Zenodo. And the links for one of the others is, on our website. Was there anything else that goes to that? We're thinking about also maybe it would require you to contribute, a gallery example, that kind of thing. And then there would be the final, which is the core packages, verified or not. You would have a badge in the column for it. So am I missing any thoughts that we'd had on that, Rebecca and Sean? Because I'm just quickly parsing notes and trying to remember.
yeah, no, I mean, I think that's the main highlights is basically just sort of breaking out more of instead of just having we self-review on how well our Python packages follow the standards, just having a slightly more coarse categorization. And I think the big benefit of doing this approach, I think, is looking toward that gold or VIP or core status or whatever that is, because that is, while it is more work for the package maintainers, because it's going to be the highest, development standards, you're going to want to meet all of the standards to the T, and maybe even do some extra stuff as PyOpenSide does in their review process. I forgot exactly what it is, but gold packages or VIP packages, whatever we end up naming that, are going to get more support from us than the others, basically. So that will be I would be, because I have to prioritize which packages I put my effort on as just being one person as the tech lead and having all these other packages, but putting the priority on the top tier packages is a pretty easy thing to decide. And especially with the whole PyHC Python environment taking shape, and even some little more toy examples like how I'm building my PyHC chat, and I have to kind of prioritize one package over another to get the little helper bot working for it. It's like packages that have the highest quality are going to be getting the most help and the most visibility. And eventually, you know, if we can sort of set a gold standard and then bring everybody up to it, we help like raise the entire field, right?
Mhm.
So, Julie and Sean, do you think you could sketch out some added benefits that could be coming down the line for PyHC packages?
Right
Yeah.
here off the top of our heads or in general?
I'm gonna leave that up to you.
Yeah, well, I mean, the prioritization in like the Python environment and stuff is one. I think it's not the best carrot in the world looking at the carrot and stick model, especially because right now I think the environment basically works with every package. Like if we got to a point to where, you know, if your package really wanted to pull in a new dependency and it would sort of break the build for one half of the group but not the other, you know, if you have the better repo, you're gonna win out in that debate or something like that. Also, like I said, you might get a custom chatbot for your own repo sooner than later. If you do this, that's a benefit with the PyHC chat prototype coming down the pipeline. What else you got, Julie? Funding stuff, maybe? Brian talked about that a little bit.
It's true. I feel like the biggest added benefit is being able to go into our environment and be built and sent off for people to use. Like that's a huge plus involved in it.
Ooh, maybe I can quickly share what a badge might look like.
Sure.
Well, I guess I don't have a great example off the top, but like something like this, or maybe if I can click over here without the Zoom controls coming back up, it wouldn't say community package, but you know, you'll have a little badge like this to stick in your repo to proudly show off what level of PyHC you are. And that can even link to something, some kind of review in PyOpenSci showing that you've got all these great things. I don't know. So there's that. You get clout that way.
I mean, yeah, I feel like the biggest thing is just more exposure and then potentially, I don't want to speak too much on this because it's still a work in progress, but should we be able to get more developer time help of someone to bebop around packages?
Yes.
The ones that, you know, are at this verified gold standard, whatever we decide to call it, level would be first priority for getting extra help.
Yeah. I mean, I think especially from my end as the tech lead, I've had a lot on my plate just making the infrastructure for a lot of these ideas to be able to exist, like getting an environment off the ground, having a gallery people can contribute things to, things like that. So I haven't focused as much of my time on like helping improve the code quality of PyHC packages or actually helping to like address GitHub issues and stuff. But that eventually will become like a core part of like what PyHC packages get out of joining our community, right? Is the development help. We just haven't really figured out exactly how it's going to take shape yet.
Yep. I'll have to think more on some nice like carrots we can dangle in front of people to make it seem even more enticing to meet this level. But overall thoughts from someone who wasn't the three of us that talked about it already. Concerns.
Just a thought on the criteria, like accessibility of the user community, because one of the goals is to get people to contribute. Is there any guidelines or requirements for, you know, the top tier packages on how they accept contributions?
I mean, we haven't actually sat down and ironed out what all the rules for them are going to be, but I mean, just off the top of my head, I would imagine something. I mean, Plasma Pi jumps out to me as an example of a great community built around, you know, development, and you know, there's like a great contribution guide in the repo and stuff. I think just having at minimum that would be good enough. Just having like a contribution guide that's more than just here's a PR template, but actually like explains a little bit about how that goes. That would probably be good enough for me.
Did you have any other ideas of what that could include, Sandy?
Not just in the vague, fuzzy sense that some packages I find easy to contribute to, even if they have many steps in their process, and others, they're like, vague. Oh, ideate what you want to do with the group on their channel, and then see if anyone wants to champion it, kind of stuff. And it's like, that's a lot of work for a developer to have to become a social part of it. So, I like your approach at PyHC is like, please have firm guidelines. Here's an example, not being prescribing, but being advising would be really good.
Ooh, because you mentioned the standard, Sandy, it reminded me that there are some things that I know we talked about like as a group wanting to add to the standards, but we decided they were kind of too pie in the sky, like publishing in both pip and conda, for example. It'd be nice to require every single PyHC package to do that, but that's too big of an ask right now for some people. So we can't just add that to the standards, but we can add that as a point to the very highest tier of package, right? So that there's another use case is for these niceties that we really would like to be more than just niceties. They can be requirements for that.
Yeah, I like that.
I agree.
Nick put a link to his contribution guide in the chat for anybody who didn't see that. Totally worth taking a glance at.
I'm not sure if this is a low-hanging thing or something that actually requires a lot of effort, but I happen to realize that Space has a software resource type, and that would just be, I don't know, one more way to get us accessible and discoverable and findable. Maybe that could be a little added thing that you'd add yourself into that metadata area. I'm not like super familiar with Space and exactly how to go and implement things, but when I came across that, I thought that was interesting. And I know that we're trying to promote the use of Space in general. So
yeah,
maybe that
I can also add maybe that you can get, or at least the way I'm envisioning it, I'm envisioning helping people achieve this gold or VIP status or whatever. So it's not just like work you have to do up front, and then once you finally clawed your way to the top, you're like, hey, I did it now. Like, I think just saying like, hey, I would really like to start the process of getting my repo up to here, but maybe I need some help in this particular area, or I don't know what I should do to do that. Like, those are the kinds of people I'd be really happy to work closely with, because that's a valiant effort.
agreed.
I'm seeing something in the chat that I need to read.
Rebecca said maybe that could be how a PyHC search interface is built. So a requirement of all packages.
Oh yeah, the space stuff, totally.
It would definitely help with the searchability and findability of our packages.
Yep.
So I'm all for that. And if it's easy enough to do, why not? Any other thoughts? Just kind of vamping. I'm guessing since we're about half an hour in, John's probably had something come up. He hasn't emailed back yet, but he's not the type to just miss just to miss. So
that seems like that's going to happen at a future Telecon now.
Yeah, it might get bumped. And by might, I mean will.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm not hearing a lot of dissent from the audience, so maybe we're stepping in the right direction with this idea. That's what I'm gonna take away from this, unless I hear a lot of nays otherwise.
Yeah. I mean,
Cool.
Now would be a good time, anyone. If you hate this idea, speak up. Roast me. No.
I love the idea, and I'm only saying that so you don't think that no one's paying attention.
Good.
I'm sure people are. I'm sure people are. It's a Monday morning. Thanks all. Russell.
Yeah, I just want to say something like the badges and stuff. I think that's good. And then we can officially have packages be able to show their PyHC, and then people can click on them and take some places and stuff. And then having the nicer type of requirements as like statuses to try to achieve. I also think that's good. It's good to have as you said, you can't perhaps have all the requirements that you may want be an actual requirement because of difficulties and other things like that. So it's good to have, perhaps a broader baseline and a minimum, but then try to have a nicer, like a carrot encouragement to, to get people there rather than the stick treatment. So yeah, just want to say, I think it's good.
Agreed.
The ultimate goal is just having one beautiful unified ecosystem where everything's interoperable and everyone's contributing easily and open science wins and all these nice things. And we're just trying to make more avenues and more carrots to get us to that place. And I mean, I think we're walking down a good path at the moment. But yeah, with that, I think we can probably give people 30 minutes of their day back.
I'd say so. I have not yet heard back from John, which is a shame because maybe some of the FEP thing would or would not be incorporated in this package steering idea, but we will reschedule and get him back on to talk about this. So thanks all for your patience and, contributing to an impromptu open topic Telecon.
Yeah.
And we'll see you all again in 2 weeks. Russell, is that when you're doing your presentations for the wider GDC folks here?
I think that's September 11th. I think it's 3 weeks for some reason.
Oh, there was a reason I skipped.
Labor Day.
Ah,
Labor Day.
I was like, there was something that necessitated that change. So yeah, the 11th. Come and join then. And oh, my cats are in the background. I'll talk to you all later.